Drop the friend. Cancel the wedding venue. It's not about you. It's your cousin's wedding day, the bride's wedding day. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe not inviting the crazy ex is the way to go. You will never catch me doing that. That is not a girl's girl move. Hey guys, it's V and welcome to Honey Hearts. Today's theme is sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Right? See, I don't know about you guys. Sometimes I'm a sensitive soul. Other times I carry the philosophy of people are people, they'll say what they say, and at the end of the day, as long as I and my loved ones know the truth, that's it. It's fine. I'll just do me. But sometimes in my sensitive era, sensitive moments, yeah, words can hurt, words can suck, and sometimes they cut. So let's dive into some of our stories. Our first story is from the subreddit AITAH. Am I the a-hole for not letting my friends use my backyard for their wedding because they do not want me to bring a +1? Here's the situation. Last summer, I bought my grandparents' house. This house was the hangout spot for my friends and I throughout our childhood. This includes my friend, Dave. The house has a sizable amount of land, which includes a lake and a gazebo. I was supposed to buy the house with my now ex-girlfriend, Leslie. But going through the process of getting approved to buy, I found out that she has massive amounts of credit card and personal debt that she hid from me throughout our 4 years together. I decided to break up as a result. That was about 6 months ago. I met Leslie because Dave's long-term girlfriend, Kim, is Leslie's cousin. Dave and Kim are engaged and set to get married in April. When I was buying the house, they asked if they could have the ceremony at the gazebo, which I agreed to do. In December, I started dating again. Leslie has not taken this well at all. She thinks we're going to get back together and has tried multiple times to make that happen. I've told her in no uncertain terms that isn't happening. Dave and Kim have asked me to not bring a +1 to the wedding for Leslie's sake. I've told them that this request is ridiculous. This wedding is happening at my house using my land, and I'm not allowed to bring a date because of a crazy ex? If that's the case, then they need to find a new venue for the wedding. They're pissed about this given the short time frame of when the wedding's supposed to happen. So, we're at an impasse. Am I the a-hole? If you guys enjoyed our first story so far, don't forget to be my +1 by liking this video and hitting subscribe, guys. Although if you're tuning in from Spotify, don't forget to rate this podcast 5 stars. I know, it's a little cheesy. See, I don't know about you guys, but people who have such close-knit, like dating amongst friends or dating relatives of your friends, it gets so hairy so fast. Oh, this is so messy. Okay, so I guess OP's the one with the gazebo, the nice house with the land, and his friends, what is it? David and Kim want to get married there, and everything was already set to go. But then they go, no, you are the only one who can't have a +1 because Leslie would be upset. So Leslie's the cousin. I mean, this might be harsh to say, but once the relationship is over, it's over. Uh, It's kind of weird to assume you have some weird sway over someone now that you're an ex. Why does she care? I mean, I guess she wants to get back together and she's been trying. I get it. And usually I'm very pro team. Bride and groom, invite whoever you want or don't invite whoever you want. But in this one case, because the friend is doing them the favor of letting them have the space for the wedding venue, I feel like it's pretty justified that OP's allowed to bring whomever he wants. I mean, okay, as long as they don't have special beef with the bride and groom, but pretty much whoever he wants is a +1, regardless of Leslie's feelings. Like, who cares about Leslie's feelings? No offense. Right? What do you think?
I mean, I guess you could argue that OP promised the venue.
Oh, like that came first, I guess.
Right. And there was no, but where it talks about explicitly who OP can bring or a +1.
So it looks like it came after. So that's why OP's now saying, oh, well, if I can't bring a +1, I'm yanking the venue.
I guess to me, it would come down to whether the OP's friend's request is too much or not. I
Yeah.
guess.
Here's the thing. If OP was chill with it and he was gonna go the route of, you know what? For you guys, it's your special day. Fine, sure. I don't mind. I didn't want to bring anyone anyway type of feeling that would be fine. But now I hate that it's the ex-girlfriend's problem that has now blossomed into an ultimatum. Like either I bring a plus one, I bring a guest of my choosing to your wedding, or I'm pulling out with your wedding venue. I don't think OP is an a hole for saying that though, because they could have said that sooner. They could have made it a condition before OP made the promise. It seems like now they're adding this in. I think I'm on OP's side actually, for once, when it comes to the wedding guest list.
Yeah, I would say that in this particular situation, I think the OP's friend's request is kind of a little too much, and I would say both of them. Like, I guess OP probably didn't specify. I guess you could also argue that he shouldn't need to specify
Right.
who's a
Usually
plus
people
one,
wouldn't, yeah.
unless there's a specific issue, which I guess in this case there is with his plus one,
But
due to the
see,
other relationship, I guess, between the OP's friends and
yeah,
um,
it's weird because Leslie, the ex, is the bride's cousin. So I get her feelings about it, but if I were the cousin, if I was the ex, I mean, it's not about you. It's your cousin's wedding day, the bride's wedding day. So I hate that Leslie on the side is probably the one saying, I don't want him to bring someone to the wedding. Or, oh, wait. You know what I think? Usually in breakups, sometimes friends, mutual friends will choose a side, right? And I'm wondering if this is their way to try and quote unquote help Leslie, the ex, the cousin, right? Because they could use the wedding as a way of, oh, look, OP's there without a plus one. Leslie's here without a plus one. And we know Leslie keeps trying to get back with OP. So maybe it's them trying to, get them back together, like help, quote unquote, help Leslie at OP's expense. And now they're shook that he would pull out of the wedding and yank the venue because of it. Uh, this screams meddling. This screams meddling. I I would say OP is right to stand his ground here. And it becomes a choice of bride and groom. Do you want to risk your venue? Or do you simply want to let your friend who's giving you the venue to use have a plus one? And Leslie can go cry somewhere. Ex girlfriend can go cry somewhere.
uh, thinking about this more, I would have to agree.
Yeah?
I don't think that OP is making an outrageous demand here, and it's more or less the demand is coming from the bride and groom here that was not established prior, I guess.
Yeah. Like it would be a different story, I think, if they brought it up sooner. Like, this is really important to us to have Leslie there and Leslie feels some sort of way, blah, blah, blah. And then at that point, it'll be up to OP. Same thing. Like, okay, well, then too bad, I guess. Or sure, I'll accommodate this. But I don't like that. It's almost like I wonder if they did this on purpose. Like, waited till he said yes to the venue, then waited some more time passed to pressure him into saying, "Oh, but it's so short term now. Like, you can't short notice. You can't just yank the venue." I'm like, Yes, he can. Yes, he can."
I would say that OP's friends don't really have that much negotiation power
Nope.
because this is a favor.
Right. They need it more than he does. So, uh. So we do have a few edits, but let's see some commenters. First comment from It Worked in My Head. Pull an Uno reverse. Tell them Leslie isn't allowed on your property and watch their heads explode. Oh, that's true. Technically, if OP is, feeling so uncomfortable with the ex and he's giving them and doing them the favor of the venue, he could always just say, you know what? Let me avoid all this awkwardness by saying Leslie is uninvited from the property. So we don't have to worry and I can still bring my plus one.
Right, but at that point,
Ah.
you could argue that OP is being an a-hole here
Yeah,
by making
because
that such demand, which
yeah. So I think
um,
it's more a joke from the comment, but for sure, it's funny how bride and groom feels they're entitled to having OP not have a plus one for Leslie's sake, who really, at this point, I'll argue is kind of like a stranger. They have been broken up for like 6 months at this point, and OP's trying to move on, clearly. So yeah, yeah. OP did respond. OP says, the petty part of me did absolutely consider saying, well, Leslie can't come to my house or on my land, so it shouldn't be a problem. Oh, man. I mean, the pettiness in me is going, oh, like I just want to see their expressions. But Realistically, you probably don't want to destroy your friendship with David and Kim at this point, OP. I mean, assuming, because it seems like you guys didn't have any problems prior to Leslie. Another comment, they want to tell you who you can have at your own house and think it's fine. They're nuts. Yeah, I think simply put, yeah, pretty straightforward. So we do have an edit. First edit, I have seen a few things brought up a number of times in the comments, so I'll quickly address them here. One, I'm fully aware of the liability issues, which is why I purchased, and they've reimbursed me for a special events insurance policy, which will provide 100% coverage for any damages, claims, injuries, etc., to any of the property or persons up to $2 million. It is one of the first things we did after I agreed to have the event in my home. Oh, very responsible, very thorough. That's cool. Two, the wedding will have a maximum, if everyone comes, of 75 guests, 5 catering staff, and 5 security staff. The security is because this is an open area that anyone walking past can access. The house has hosted events twice the size, and logistically, it has been fine. On the property are 2 cottages, one with 1 bathroom and the other with 2 bathrooms. The only portion of my house that will not be locked during the wedding is the finished basement. The basement has 2 bathrooms. 3. Every person who is single, i.e., not in an established relationship, received an invitation with a +1, including me and Leslie. This talk came after I sent in my return card and indicated I was bringing a +1. Now they're saying they don't want me to have the +1 because Leslie blew up about it and they're afraid of a blow up at the wedding. Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe not inviting the crazy ex is the way to go. Now it feels less like bride and groom is trying to help the cousin and more like bride and groom just want a peaceful wedding and they want to prevent a blow up. So they're trying to, I'll say it, enable Leslie's crazy behavior and say, oh, you know what? She cried about it. She yelled about it. And we just want a nice wedding. So let's give Leslie what she wants. Also, I feel like bride and groom, I'm not nitpicking, but you guys could have just not told Leslie. I feel like you could have just not told Leslie that OP was going to bring a +1. And then, well, I guess then that means she's just going to blow up at the wedding. So, uh, yeah, I'm starting to think just don't invite the crazy acts. 4, Leslie indicated she intends to bring someone on her card. I don't know if she will actually bring someone. Well, that makes Leslie a super a-hole because, okay, say she says that she would bring someone and then it was just a bluff, a facade, and she didn't intend to bring anyone at all. I mean, shame on her then, because then she's costing the bride and groom money or a seat, right? But if she does intend to bring someone, then why is she mad that OP is going to bring someone? I'm confused. I'm confused. What is the logic? If she's going to bring someone anyway, then why is her ex not allowed to move on if she is moving on? Like, what's the deal? Has this changed any of your perspective? I'm asking Em, my fiance, who's you guys will hear, and you guys have dubbed Mr. Deep Voice here.
I guess it just solidifies my opinion that OP would not be an a-hole. And I don't think his request to bring a +1 is outrageous. I think
No.
the more outrageous request here is that I guess the bride and the groom are making such
Helping
request of not having
Leslie?
a +1, yeah, and having
Yeah.
Leslie there.
It's especially weird because we've now confirmed that everyone has a +1, including Leslie and originally OP. So he was given it beforehand. And then now, because he says he will bring someone, oh, they're like, no, 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 actually, no. So did you ask with the intention that he wouldn't bring anybody? Like,
Yeah.
it's just bad. I don't know. Leslie seems a little bit too involved on in someone else's wedding, even if it's her cousins. We do have an update. Update. So I met with Dave this morning. We talked for almost 2 hours about everything. I laid it out that I thought he was, at best, a shitty friend. I went through a long history of various things over the years that has me questioning our friendship. That was the bulk of our conversation. We then turned to the breakup with Leslie and the shit show of the last 6 months. Throughout the last 6 months, despite Leslie's craziness, I have bent over backwards to try and accommodate her feelings. She has shown up at my house in the middle of the night. I did not go for a restraining order. When I go out, I do not go to places I know that her and her family like to go. She has implied to her family and mutual friends at various times that I cheated and or that I took advantage of her financially, neither of which is true at all. I have held my tongue to not embarrass her about these things in front of her friends and family. Dave has known all that and yet is demanding once again that I put Leslie's feelings before my own. I said, quote, you and everyone need to stop coddling her like she is an effing child. This is even worse. Wait. Oh, wait. This is not a am I the a-hole post. This is a should I get a restraining order on a crazy ex post. She's shown up to your house. You avoid all places that she and her friends go to. Uh, this is not like a anti-Leslie ban. This is more like a embargo places you're allowed to go now. OP, this is not normal to avoid someone to this extent or for them to just show up and try to interfere with your life time and time again. Wait, quick side note. I am not a lawyer, nor am I certified in any way or authorized to give legal advice, guys. This is just coming from me who is imagining, as a girl who's imagining the situation, would be terrified. Yeah, perhaps seek legal advice while you're at it, OP. I don't feel safe for you because if she's out here, first off, ruining your name, defaming you, basically, telling everyone who's willing to listen, which seems to be everybody in your circle, that you're cheating, you're taking money apparently from her, and all of this, and showing her at your house. I think you have bigger issues than the wedding. This is the lesser on your list. And two, okay, Dave will never escape the bad friend allegations here because what do you mean? You know your friend is dealing with all of this and he's giving you a wedding venue, right? Like a whole nice cottage. I'm imagining like this, wildflowers, beautiful meadow with a nice little cottage, like wedding venue with a gazebo. And you're going to stab him in the back by once again telling him to deprioritize his safety, to be honest, and his emotions and say, you know what, I'm going to need you to suck this up. And not only attend this big event with your crazy ex who has been harassing you for the last 6 months, but also you're not allowed to spend any other time with a plus one. That's essentially what it comes down to. I mean, do we really think that if OP were to go to this wedding without a plus one, do we really think Leslie's not going to approach him and pull something? It really, Leslie's just going to stare at you like, all like forlornly from the distance. Like, no, she's going to approach you. She's going to make things weird and awkward and crazy. Drop the friend. Cancel the wedding venue. I don't know. I think this justifies it. The fact that even your best friend, or sorry, I'm saying best friend, but maybe your close friend, right? Because who else would you give a whole wedding venue to? Your close friend is not on your side in this situation, knowing everything you've gone through. Cancel the venue. Cancel the best friend. It just remove these people from your life. They don't have your best interests. What do you think? Is it too harsh to cancel a wedding venue? Because technically, you could argue this is a separate issue from the venue. Technically, if I were to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, I wouldn't be completely against that. Yeah, that does like it definitely doesn't look good on I guess OP's friend's side or from his perspective. It's
I'm start
just
doubting our friendship.
yeah,
Like, man,
that
what are you thinking?
doesn't seem like he's a good friend.
No. So he wants everyone to be happy, but he also wants the free wedding venue.
Well, I don't think when
No,
you
I'm talking about the
think about
friend.
it, yeah, the friend. I don't think he wants everyone to be happy. I think he just wants,
Well, when I say everyone to be happy,
I
I think
guess,
it's
his
more like,
cousin to be happier. In this
yeah,
case, over the
bride's
OP,
cousin. Yeah.
you can kind of see his like the friend's priorities here, and I think no, despite what the cousin did, he seems to prioritize the cousin over OP.
You know what I hate? Sometimes, right? When it gets to these types of relationships, there's always one person who's way too overboard. Like they go from 0 to 100. Like now that they've broken up, they're going to turn everyone against the other partner. Everyone has to pick a side. They're going to cry about it. They're going to be a child about it, right? And then there might be the other party who's more mature, might not say anything, keep things quiet, settle things, in private, the relationship. But it's weird how people in the surrounding environment will always, a lot of times, tell the person who's like, instead of not enabling the person who's crying, screaming, being a child about it, they'll go to the other person, the more mature person, say, no, we know the other person's crazy, but you're the more mature one. We need you to take the higher ground. I don't like that. I hate it because it feels very much like I did what I was supposed to do and I'm getting punished for it. Whereas the other person's throwing around and being a complete child and they're being rewarded and enabled for it. That's the impression I'm getting. It's gross. It's gross. Now, OP continues with the update. Dave concedes that Leslie has been crazy and ridiculous since the breakup, but he says she feels she did not get closure after the relationship. She wants to have an evening where she can talk to you to get that closure. He also told me that Leslie has been very vigilant about paying off her debt and paid off almost $10,000 of credit card debt. She wants to talk to me about her progress to see if that might cause me to change my mind. It will not. I asked him, so do you expect me to go to the wedding and talk to her? Because I have her blocked everywhere. And date or not, I do not plan to say a single mumbling word to her. He said, quote, I fully expect she would lose it if y'all do not talk at the wedding. I told him if that's the case, then for the good of my property, I can't have Leslie come. If she's so unstable that I need to be coerced into a conversation with her, she is too unsafe to be a guest in any capacity in my home. So I've told him, based on what he has told me, Leslie cannot come to my house or on my land. I'm willing to still have the wedding at my place, but I cannot trust that Leslie won't do something given what you're telling me. Dave lost it at this point, and he said, F you and your shit. I don't need it. So I said, then the wedding's off. He left, so that's the state of things. I'm flabbergasted. I don't know. Oh my
I guess the problem took care of itself.
gosh. Yeah. The trash took itself out. What is with people and their coerced like interventions and sit down conversations? I thought last episode we heard the craziest one yet, but this is so funny. Who wants to have this at their wedding? Legit. I get that you might care for your family member, your cousin, and maybe you really support your cousin. That's fine. Or your bride or your to be wife's cousin. That's fine. Family, like support your family, right? But why would you want your to be cousin, I guess, why would you want anybody having a whole reconciliation or intervention or confrontation with their ex at your wedding? That is some wild, like, I'm just imagining the timeline scheduled in Dave's mind, Dave and Kim, like the bride and groom's mind. The timeline goes like this. Oh, like say they have a early afternoon, like sort of wedding, right? It's a nice meadow cottage. 12 p.m. Guests arrive. 12:30, ceremony begins. Followed by 1 p.m. Leslie's intervention with her ex. Everyone back out of the dance floor and give them some space so we can all watch this all unfold. I would not put it above Leslie to then like get ignored by OP, obviously, because he basically said that I'm not talking to her at this wedding. So I don't know what you're expecting. For Leslie to start flipping things, well, emotionally and physically. Like she would start destroying the wedding. I would not be surprised if she started wrecking the home. I hate how Dave's true colors came out at the very end of the conversation. So he said all of this. He heard how OP feels. Like, I don't feel safe with her being my property. I don't want her to be here anymore. Dave just goes, F you. Well, I don't need it, which it's the most childish response to something when you clearly know he does need this venue. Why are you wrecking a relationship, like a good friendship, over a crazy cousin to be? No, for real. Like, is it worth it? The trade off does not seem worth it. I mean, on one side of the scale, you have crazy cousin who seems to be emotionally unstable and cannot take a hint and needs to be coddled. On the other side, you have a great friend who's willing to give you a wedding venue, who's been supportive, who's been trying to accommodate you, and the crazy cousin. And he has one little request, which is please don't bother him with his ex. That's it. That's all he wanted. And you're telling me he went, yeah, crazy ex. I'm on the crazy ex's side here. On the bright side, OP, at least you don't have to deal with a huge event at your, at your house anymore. The property won't have any risk of damage. And hopefully you won't be harassed about getting together with Leslie anymore, your ex. I want to say there's a happy ending. I'm not quite sure if it's a happy ending. I guess it's good in the long term. It worked itself out. Let's see what the comments say. First comment from BookGeek. Well, I think one of your key takeaways from this is that you need to start living your life, stop avoiding places you normally don't go to, clarify to people why you broke up, not that you cheated, and put together any evidence of her crazy behavior so you can get a restraining order if needed. You also need to tell people why the wedding isn't happening at your place, as you know they're going to make you out to be the bad guy. Oh. See, I hate this. Sometimes it's not the truth that's the loudest. Sometimes it's just Whoever's going to start yapping about it first. I feel like 100% bride and groom and the crazy cousin, they're all going to start spreading out in the community that, oh, our wedding venue was taken away from us. He yanked it last minute for no apparent reason. And he's a cheater and he financially scammed us or something like that. Those aren't your real friends, OP. I think this is a very telling moment. Another comment to add from Undebatable Mom to add the day of the wedding is not the time to get closure, and at the wedding is not the place to get closure. Your friends are okay with her hijacking their ceremony so she can sleep better at night? Yeah, that would be a big not happening. Any of it from me. Agreed. Any final thoughts in regards to how OP handled the situation?
I would say he handled pretty well, but I would also want to add that I think he needs to stand up for himself even further to kind of clarify the events. Not that I guess, I don't know if I should say need, but
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea for him to do it. Just my opinion. If he is I guess still surrounds himself in that friend group, but at the same time, perhaps just yeah, it's gonna be hard, but you need to find new friends. Op.
Yeah. I agree with you. I don't think this is one of those, oh, let me be classy, keep silent. The truth speaks for itself. This is not one of those moments. I think you need to set things clear ASAP. Ugh, that's rough. Now to change your tune a little bit, we're jumping into our wild pick story, guys. So wild pick is just that, a story that's a little kooky, a little chaotic, but I'm excited to hear your thoughts for this. So this one is also from the subreddit AITAH. Am I the a-hole for refusing to stop using my embarrassing lunchbox at work? I, 28-year-old male, bring my lunch to work every day in a bright blue Pokemon lunchbox. I've had it for years and I don't think much about it. It's just the perfect size, keeps my food cold, and honestly, I think it's kind of fun. Recently, a new coworker, Matt, 35-year-old male, started making comments about it. At first, it was just joking around, stuff like, nice lunchbox, dude. My kid has the same one. Whatever, I laughed it off. But then he kept bringing it up, saying it was unprofessional and that I should grow up and get a real lunch bag. I told him I didn't see the issue in that it's literally just a lunchbox. But last week, he took it further, telling me in front of her coworkers that it was weird for a grown man to be carrying around kid stuff. I told him he should worry less about my lunchbox and more about his own life. Now he's been acting cold towards me, and a couple of coworkers said I was being too harsh, that he was just messing around. But I don't see why I should change something harmless just because one guy thinks it's weird. Am I the a hole? No, no. I am not even the biggest Pokemon advocate out there, but the one time I'll step up for the community here is, Opie, bring all your lunch boxes you want. Freaking bring a, I don't know, Pokemon keychain if you want to work. Your hobby is not hurting anybody. And if you find joy and passion in it, what's wrong with that? It's not anything inappropriate. You're not hurting anyone except this one guy's fragile ego. I don't understand why he has so much to say. One of the best things I think that have happened in our current, I don't know, in the last decade, I guess, is the normalization of people having cool, interesting hobbies. I think it used to be back in the day that, I mean, I say back in the day like I'm really ancient, but guys, like, okay, fine, like a decade ago, okay? I think if you liked anime, Pokemon, cartoons, like animation, anything, right? Or if you had anything that was beyond like a regular, quote unquote, stereotypical sports hobby or a more talked about popularized hobby in the US, people would look at you weird. You'd be called a nerd or something like that. But I like that nowadays it feels more like nerd is a flex now. It's like a unique trait to you. And if you like certain hobbies, like go for it. Who cares what people think? And Pokemon, hello? Pokemon is not just a kid's thing. Have you seen the Pokemon fandom? Have you seen the price point of some of these Pokemon cards? Dang, like some of them are way more expensive and way more valuable. Like literally, they're assets compared to baseball cards or something else. Not just saying any sports cards. I'm just saying, guys, it's just, if people like it, let them like it. I hate the fact that this is a 35-year-old grown man who feels the need to act like a playground bully to his coworker. Really? Who's the real immature one here? You know what's childish? It's making fun of other people's hobbies when it's none of your business. Like, it's one thing if OP came up to his coworker and went, "So, dude, do you personally think this lunchbox is childish? In your honest opinion?" And the coworker provides his honest opinion. Okay, fair game, fair game. But why are you bringing it up multiple times? Let the man live with his Pokemon lunchbox.
I would say, if anything, the coworker, I don't know if that's even appropriate to bring things up like that about other people and keep kind of harassing them about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, the answer is kind of pretty clear that given what the OP said, I don't think it was too harsh.
No, I think he was very civil and appropriate about it because all he said was that it wasn't even that mean, to be honest. On the mean scale, he just said, "Worry about yourself, dude." Is that harsh nowadays? I don't know. I thought that was pretty tame, to be honest, for a guy who's been like bringing it up multiple times. What I don't understand is the intent. Wait, I have a wild theory about this. What if Matt's just jealous? What if the coworker's just jealous that OP is confident in his person, in his in his, the way he carries himself and just enjoys what he enjoys and isn't afraid to show it? What if he's just jealous that he's confident? Because why else are you picking at it so much? It doesn't seem like any of the other coworkers have spoken up about it or feel uncomfortable, So I'm confused. I'm genuinely confused. I'll tell you guys this because I have a similar occurrence with one of my coworkers before. So, as you can see, I dye my hair, currently blonde, but you've seen me pretty much in what? Like, I've had pink hair, red hair. I am not a stranger to experimenting with different hair colors. Neons, I will not touch, just for the purpose of, I don't think they look good for me. I can't rock it, guys. But one time at my workplace, a coworker, not even someone I'm close with, by the way, someone I just work with in passing, I guess, like, what's more distant than a regular coworker? An acquaintance coworker, I guess. She stopped me and we were just saying hi, I guess. And it was just, you see a coworker you've met before, so you just say hi, right? I say hi, she says hi. And then the next words out of her mouth were, "Oh." And at that time I had light brown hair. And she said, "Oh, did you dye your hair to be more professional at the workplace?" Hello? I, it's gonna sound weird. Maybe only I heard it in the moment, but I trust me, guys. Trust me when I tell you that was a mean girl move to do. That was just there were no good intentions made because I was also walking with my new team at the time and my new manager. And I'm not ashamed about my hair. It's not hurting anyone. And it's not like I don't know, offending anyone, I don't think, with different hair colors. And it's compliant with work policy. But the fact that she felt the need to stop me in the middle of a hallway, say that, and that's the first thing that came to her mind. Like, who says that with a good intention? Like, what do you mean? And I literally just said, "No, I don't think there's any issues with my other hair, but I'm just currently light brown because I felt like being light brown hair today." And she just went, "Oh," and walked off. And I just remember that being the weirdest experience ever. I don't know. I would never go up to someone, even if I thought their hair was ugly for whatever reason, unless it's like, you know, sticking up in a way that they didn't intend it to be. Because, keep my feelings to myself. Like, I do not give unsolicited feedback, especially to people I don't know with bad intentions. It's different if you say, "Oh, dude, I noticed there's spinach in your teeth, like from lunch." Like, yeah, I'm going to tell someone that because I don't want my coworker to walk around with spinach in their teeth and not know it. I'd want someone to tell me too, right? But to like almost like reframe something that they're doing for their own enjoyment and make it twist it into something that seems unprofessional or negative. You will never catch me doing that. That is not a girl's girl move. Have you ever had that instance? Has any male coworkers or female or anyone ever made that comment to you or some sort
Uh,
of similar comment?
Happen different uh circumstances, I guess.
Really?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I guess if you're like working, I guess
Mhm.
remotely, sometimes you might want to have your like camera on
Yeah.
or off, and the policy varies whether you need to have a camera on.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes I have it on, sometimes I don't have it
yeah.
on. And this one coworker used to always kind of I don't know, for some reason we used to make jabs that I don't have my camera on, and per our, I guess, company's policy, like, you don't really need to. So,
Yeah. So
and he would just do it periodically for I don't know what his reasoning was, but
why does he care so much? Like, I'm
I have
so
no idea.
confused.
But I mean, at one point, I more or less called him out in front of everyone, and that was the end of it. But um,
Yeah,
it's
babe, you go, you get him.
yeah, I mean.
I mean, it's
It's just
weird.
weird. So some people like fixate on the weirdest things ever that really don't affect them, I would say. And they have a need to make comments about it. And I don't know if they're like, what is their thinking here? Are they getting some sort of enjoyment, or are they trying to be helpful, but they're
Coming off like
yeah.
harassment? Like what's the
Yeah. So anyways. mm,
See, it's weird because I think you can sense the intention though in these situations because when it comes from a good intention, people go about it differently. They might pull you aside to say something in private and not in front of a bunch of people or in a public space to pressure you, or they'll just kind of whisper or like the way they carry themselves is like a friend trying to look out for you. But in these cases, and even my story, and even an M story as he shared it, and an OP story, I don't get that intention. I get the feeling of like, oh, I wanna make a mockery out of you. I don't like something that you're doing, so I wanna point it out in a public setting and almost like it's almost like the adult version of pointing at you and laughing at you, almost like the little kid's version of, "Ha ha, look what you did. Look what you're doing." It's so weird and immature. Let's leave that behavior in the past, guys. Like, let's not carry that behavior forward. It is so weird. I think OP did the right thing, like calling him out because he did wait a few times. Like it's not the first time that he said it. It's not the second time he said it. It's like the third time he's like, "All right, that's enough out of you." I am the proponent of, you don't have to always make things big. Like choose your fights for sure. But when someone keeps on poking at you and jabbing at you like this, verbally or emotionally, otherwise, you got to shut it down. Stand up for yourself, guys. Stand up for yourself. But if it's in the workplace, be careful. Like stand up for yourself professionally, civilly. Be classy about it so you can't get in trouble. Now let's see what comments say. First comment, super weird that he feels the need to control a coworker's lunchbox choices. Sounds like he needs a different hobby, not they whole. Yeah, honestly, it sounds like OP, you are his hobby. This man is so fixated on your dang lunchbox. I kind of wish OP included a picture of the lunchbox because now I'm curious what it looks like. I mean, it must be pretty cool for this guy to obsess over it, you know? Another comment. No, you do you. Matt has issues. Yes. Oh, someone actually commented about their own backpack, Pokemon backpack. They said from Resident Rhubarb, I regularly wear my Pikachu backpack out and about, also in my 30s. Don't let anyone beat the inner child out of you. In my experience, that inner child is the best part of most people I meet. I agree. Let the inner child soul live. I was trying to come up with a pun for Pokemon. I can't think of anything. The only slogan that comes into my mind is gotta catch 'em all. Yeah, so I support OP in his venture to catch 'em all. Wait, I know there's like so many generations of Pokemon. Are they still using that slogan? I hope they do. I hope they do. Because that's what I remember. Overall, easy verdict. Not the a-hole. And very classy response, OP. Very classy clapback. Our next story is from the subreddit AITAH. Am I the a-hole for telling my roommate to move out after she risked my life to prove a point? I, 25-year-old female, have two roommates, Jenny and Abby. Jenny started noticing her food going missing and blamed us both. I didn't eat any of her food, so I wasn't super worried. Yesterday, Jenny called a roommate meeting, and we were off work. She sat down and told Abby she wanted to be paid back for the food that's gone missing. Abby started arguing and saying it wasn't her, it was probably me. That's when Jenny said it couldn't have been me because she was putting nuts into her food and in her stuff, like food that doesn't even make sense to have nuts in it, because I'm severely allergic to them. She said I couldn't have done it because I'd be dead. Oh. She said it all proud like she got Abby, but I literally felt sick. I could have died, like genuinely passed. An EpiPen isn't a cure. You still have to go to hospital and it's bad. Also, it's really expensive to replace them. Like for $30 of food, she was willing to risk my life. OP, genuinely, I'm so sorry for you because you literally are an innocent bystander who was caught up in this mess for no reason. Dang. I mean, if someone was stealing food from the fridge, my first thinking would be, okay, if calling them out and confronting them personally doesn't work, put a cheap camera in the fridge and see. I wouldn't go straight to, hmm, time to test it with poison, like literal nuts. When you have a roommate or housemate, I guess, with a severe nut allergy, oh girl, you're that I gotta say, I'm sorry. That girl's missing a few logic screws in her brain. I would never. That is so drastic. What is this girl cooking? Like filet mignon every day that she's afraid of getting stolen with gold flakes on it? Like, what is going on? I don't know what she's cooking, but OP says $30 worth of food. It's not worth risking someone's life over. Is this crazy or what?
So that roommate purposely put nuts in the food just to test.
To see if OP
Yeah, that's
was stealing her food.
yeah, that's probably shouldn't be doing that. I guess how do you put it this way?
Any other alternative?
Right,
Hello?
right. Like so many other things she could have done.
She jumped straight to, haha, you'd be dead. She literally went, no, I know it's not you though, girl. Don't worry about it. It's Abby that stole the food because you would be unalived right now. Like, what? Um, y- Girl, it's time to boot that roommate out. I don't know. It's time to go. Either you gotta go or I would not trust myself. No, not myself. I would not trust them in your living space anymore. The cross contamination potentially. That's no joke. Now, let's see. Maybe she feels bad about it. Maybe. OP says, like for $30 of food, she was willing to risk my life. She and I argued and she said she knew it wasn't me, so that's why she did it. But I don't believe her. I told her to move out, and now both Abby and Jenny are mad at me. But it's my life, it's my name on the apartment. I'm fairly certain I'm justified in kicking her out, but I'm double checking. It feels absolutely insane that I could lose a friendship of 4 years to something that wasn't even my fault. Abby is pissed at me and says I'm overreacting, but she also doesn't want to move out. So she's at least somewhat on my side. Jenny is angry and not speaking to me. I told her she has 30 days to get out of my place. Wait, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because this all started because Jenny's food was missing, right? So there's 3 people in this household. Jenny's food went missing and she suspects, quote unquote, apparently suspects it was Abby. But in order to be doubly sure, poisons all her food with nuts, basically. Um, and her way of I guess, when you do those multiple choice questions and they always tell you, oh, there's one obvious like answer to like knock out, like to narrow down your options. Why did she feel the need to test this out by physically narrowing down her options? I mean, was her thinking like, oh, well, OP's in the hospital, so by process of elimination, yeah, that's the one. What the heck, girl? I don't think OP's going too far by wanting to kick Jenny out.
I guess Jenny's reasoning was that she was that sure that it was not OP.
Why would you put it to the test like that, though?
Absolutely.
Girl.
Yeah, I'm not defending that.
There are so many options in between. Like, I feel like some people just jump straight from 0 to 100. Like, let me do the most drastic thing possible. Girl, once again, I am not a legal advisor, but I think, OP, you are kind of morally, ethically, and hopefully financially okay to kick out Jenny. And I hate how the fact that, wait a minute, it was a Jenny and Abby problem. But then OP, this innocent bystander, all of a sudden got yanked into this. So now it's become Jenny versus OP. And then Abby's the one who's like, no, of course, girl, I'm on your side, OP. I'm on your side. Girl, you're the one who started this by stealing food. What do you mean? You're not innocent either. Kick them both out. Because are we forgetting that Abby was okay with throwing OP under the bus for all the food stealing?
Yep.
She straight up went, no, it wasn't me. Probably OP did it. OP took your food, Jen. I don't know what you're talking about. Homegirl is, no, you can't. 4 years of friendship? OP, I'm sorry. You gotta rinse, and don't repeat. Like, just cleanse your home, literally, because cross-contamination with nuts probably in that kitchen. But kick them both out. Abby is definitely also not your friend. She was ready as, well, she already did sell you out once. And hopefully, I am fingers crossed that your next roommate, I don't know how you would test this, but maybe put on the questionnaire like, oh, would you ever put nuts in your food knowing I'm allergic? I don't no. You're gonna have to like be extra careful with how you vet your next housemates because this would destroy my own like sense of trust in people. So one of your friends was willing to poison you to prove a point, and the other has consistently shown that she's willing to throw you under the bus. These are some friends. These are some friends for sure. Let's see what comments say. First comment from Be Environmental. I would also kick Abby out for blaming you for something she knew she did. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Another comment. I'd look at replacing the both of them. Jenny for the obvious, you could have unalived simply from cross contamination, not even from eating her food. What if the utensils or plates weren't washed properly? Even trace amounts of nuts can kill those who are allergic. And Abby for being a food thief and despite being the guilty party, throwing you directly under the bus. With friends like these, I'll complete your thought for you, commenter. Who needs enemies when your friend is ready to poison you for a point? Yeah, I think this goes without saying, but definitely not the a-hole. Your thoughts?
I mean, I agree. At the same time, I don't know. Does OP like what precautions does OP take?
Well,
To
before nothing, but now, oh, poor OP. I feel like how would you even test this though? You would there's unless it's like a giant almond, there's walnut in the food. How would you be able to tell if there's trace
no,
amounts?
guess you really can't.
I would.
I guess in
She's
that
gonna have to dump all the fridge food.
yeah, I guess at that point, if you have such allergies, like you
Yeah.
have to be very careful with your food. So or be extra cautious about, I guess, the food you consume or where the food
Oh,
comes from. That's just the
poor
tough part
OP.
because you never know who might. Even I guess at the restaurants, even they might say, "Oh, that has no nuts" or whatever, but it's still
Man, that's
you're still
rough.
taking a risk, I guess, every time you eat out somewhere.
You know what I'm surprised by? The amount of people with nut allergies. That's a pretty common allergy.
Is it that
Yeah.
severe for everyone?
Well, Mm, I don't know if it's that severe, but nut allergy is one of the more common ones. Like I see all the time where like a lot of food labels will say whether or not they have nuts, like just to prevent anyone with nut allergies, like they'll call it out specifically. Or even I remember in schools when people would bring food, it's always don't bring any nuts. Like just don't. Like not even a oh we'll just exclude like one specific portion. It's just no, don't even bother with it because of how many nut allergies there are or how severe it is for some people. I hate that the friend has no remorse. She doubled down. She's like, "No, it's okay. I knew it wasn't you. If you were so certain, why did you need to test it like that?" Girl. If anything, I think it's the opposite. I think friend suspected OP first, and that's why she tested with the nut allergy.
Man,
Oh, I'm so sorry for you. And hopefully you'll be able to successfully kick them both out and get new roommates who, hopefully, at the bare minimum, won't throw you on the bus or try to poison you with nuts. So, fingers crossed for you. Now, our last story is from the subreddit AITH. Am I the a-hole for not booking our ski trip on my credit card when no one would commit to going? FYI, I, 25-year-old female, am telling a story from my husband's 28-year-old male's perspective. He's getting a lot of shit from his friends about the situation, and it's pissing me off for him. He's such a giving and caring friend, and I really don't think this is his fault. About 2 months ago, I brought up the idea to 3 of my work buddies that we should go on a ski trip. We were already going to be halfway to the ski resort for a work conference, so I figured it was perfect. All 3 of them said they were down and were super excited. They told me they wanted me to book it on my credit card. In parentheses, wife here, it's actually my credit card, lol. And they said they would pay me in advance. My wife and I had no problem with that, but as soon as the planning process started, everyone started to get really flaky. One of them was taking some time off work, so I didn't get to see him after our initial conversation, and he literally never responded to any of my text messages about it. The other 2 would always act like they were 100% down to sit down and plan it together, but would end up leaving work before we get to talk. And no one would respond to my text messages about it outside of work. I even started sending them options of where to stay. No response. My heart and soul hurts for you. No. This is the reason why there are trends on TikTok, Instagram, and social media about, oh, people like showcasing clips from their friend group trips. And the caption is literally, when the trip actually makes it out of the group chat. Literally. This is, I'll say it. I think group trips, a successful group trip, is one of those defining moments in a friendship that really tells you how close you are to the group and how strong the bond is. Because what do you mean? I hate this so much as a planner myself, who has been the core planner of many friendship group trips. It sucks to be the person pulling together all the logistics, and then all the other people have to do is yes or no, disagree, agree, provide feedback. And they can't even do that. And they're just flaky about it when they're the ones who sometimes even initiate the trip in the first place, or they keep pushing the trip, but they're not willing to plan or do any work to make it happen. It is the most aggravating thing ever. It can't be me. Nope. I feel OP's frustration through my freaking iPad. See, for me, I would immediately just cancel the trip based on this behavior. Because what do you mean? Everyone's so excited to go. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Did you plan it yet? Did you plan it? When are we going? Where are we staying? Oh, okay. These are the options, guys. What do you think? Crickets. Like, no, I would immediately go, okay, well, if I don't hear a response by this weekend, I'm just, I guess we just don't go on a trip because I need some response from you guys. And you guys just aren't providing any and not even giving me a reason. And these are grown adults, guys. They're in like OP's husband, the actual OP here, since his wife is writing it for him. Actual OP is 28 years old. So late 20s, full grown adults, and you can't be responsible enough to provide a text response. Come on. Now, OP says, eventually I started asking everyone if they just wanted to cancel, but everyone said no. And then one of my buddies said that he knew someone we could stay with, but never gave me the contact info. Now it was 2 weeks before we were supposed to go, and I still had no straight answers from anyone. And the time window for me asking off of work was closing. I sent out one last text message to everyone telling them it was the last day to ask for off and book a hotel, and I need their money that day or we couldn't go. The one guy that never responded didn't respond, and one said, that should work, I'll let you know, and didn't. And one said, I can't make it work financially right now, but if you spot me on the hotel and my lift ticket, I'll try and find a way to pay you back. Wait, this is like textbook, like how to say no or flake or be shady without saying no. So the one guy just ghosts, like doesn't respond. The other guy says, I'll let you know. I hate that so much. It sounds like a maybe to me. It's almost like could be yes, could be no. Who knows? You'll know when I know, which is when. Just say yes or no. It's one simple question.
It's interesting how the OP got basically every answer you can think of.
Every variety.
Every like bad answer you can think of.
Like, it's so annoying. The last one I hated the most. I can't make it work financially right now, but if you spot me for hotel and the lift, I'll try to pay you back. It's not I'll pay you back for sure. I'll try to pay you back.
Oh no.
So what happens if you try and it's like, sometimes you try and you don't succeed. Like, I feel like he's the type to go, oh, sorry, man. What do I owe you for again? Like, he seems like the type that you're going to have to chase down and be like, hey, dude, remember that ski trip we went like 2 weeks ago? When are you going to pay me back? Oh, that? Oh, I forgot all about it. Things are tough right now. Can I let you know? What?
OP would be a fool to
Yeah.
proceed with this.
There's so many red flags. So many freaking red flags. Like, I think he's better off canceling. So he goes, I was super frustrated because I didn't want to risk putting all this money on my wife's credit card without a 100% guarantee that we would get paid back. So I never booked it or asked for days off. Then today, the guy who literally never responded once comes into my work and tells me I dropped the ball on our trip and it's my fault. My friends are all giving me shit about it. Am I the a-hole here?
I think you're the only one that's not an a-hole.
Like, everyone else sucks. Like, new verdict. Everyone else besides OP sucks. What is this? Man, are friendships that rough out here? Like, everyone has poopy friends. Like, what the heck? You're getting gaslit, OP. Do not let them railroad you over this. They were flaky. You've tried multiple times to get their commitment. They said no, or I guess no in various ways without saying it directly, and then expected you to somehow read their minds and predict everything and just book it anyway. Like, no, if you booked it, I agree with him here. Mr. Deep Voice, you would definitely play the fool Because what happens if they're so flaky they can't answer a text? What if they just don't show up? So now you're stranded and they never pay you back too. And so now you're stranded with 3 tickets, hotel stay for 3 people with no way of recuperating the cost.
So out of those 3 responses, which one do you think is the worst?
I think I actually think the no response is the worst.
I disagree.
Why? Because here's my thing. At least with the other 2 responses, the whole "I'll let you know."
I think that's the
Or
worst. That's definitely the
see,
worst.
to me, that's a no. Like after a certain time period, I'm mentally gonna be like, all right, in 2 days if I hear back, that's a no. So I'm just not gonna even like.
To me, that's the worst
Okay.
because that's a no and that's not a yes.
It's like
And you don't know when you're supposed to expect for a response. So then you're
no.
going to be in this limbo of whether how long do I wait? When that is the worst because the no response is an obvious like okay they didn't respond. Obviously, that's a no.
Yeah.
The other response were like, "Can you spot me?" Well, clearly you're you're likely not gonna pay me back unless you know you have some prior relationship or some sort of understanding that you know this has happened before and this person is kind of good for it. But
See, the reason why I'm saying the no response is the worst is because for me, I already assume like based on the response type, the other 2, okay, it's a no. It's basically a no. It's definitely not a yes. So to me, automatic no. All right. I'm
but
just
but
not
that's
gonna put
at,
my emotions there
but that
anymore.
at least you know that's a no. So you're
No,
not
but the
even thinking about
ghosting,
it.
no, for me, it's the opposite. I think the ghosting's the worst because it's almost like, are you just ignoring me on purpose? Are you just, did something happen? You're not responding to the text because something actually
Uh,
happened, like emergency, which is like, okay, odds are,
I
but,
guess so. I guess so.
or like, what could it be? I hate the whole wondering part of it.
I guess I didn't consider that. I guess that's also
It's
not
like,
good.
I just
Yeah.
feel like I'm left in the void. At least the other 2, I can kind of like use contact clues and kind of just go, okay, not worth my effort. But the ghosting's the worst because I'm like,
Mm.
just give me the conclusion, dang it. It's like letting a sentence hang midway, never ending it. It's like, oh, I like, see, it's annoying to me. That would drive me crazy. Like, no ending to the thought. It's like that.
Okay. What did the comments say?
Ah, first comment from Maroon Grad. Nope. Tell them thank you for organizing the next trip. Not they all, and they know it. They just don't want to admit they were the a-holes. Agreed. The audacity for the one guy who ghosted to come in and pull the, you dropped the ball, man. You ruined it for all of us. We could have had a nice trip, but no, because you ruined it. He went Uno reverse. It's your fault now. Not because I blanked out, but it's your fault. Another comment from Anxious Routine. Not they all. In fact, given what you say here, you are very smart in not booking the trip. No one committed or responded to any attempts to communicate repeatedly. You aren't going to get that money back if you had booked the trip. Opie says, this is what I told my husband. Ain't no way we were getting our money back. LMFAO. Oh, it's a response from the wife. I love that the wife is the one putting the story up on here because I really do get the vibe. Such a cute couple, by the way. I get the vibe that husband is like this very, according to OP here, giving and caring friend. And he's starting to really doubt that maybe he did drop the ball on this. And wife is almost like the defender bestie who's like, no, no, let me show you what the internet says. Trust me, babe. You are not in the wrong. That's the vibe I'm getting. She's like, ain't no way we were getting our money back. She's right. You guys called it. One thing I will like yell at the one friend for, or coworker, whatever, ex friend for, is I can't make it work financially right now, but I'll try to pay you back. First off, so you knew you weren't financially okay for this, but you've been stringing OP along and saying, oh, yeah, let's do this trip I can't afford. Yeah. Knowing in the back of your head that you were never going to pay for it. This scrub. Fraud. I'm calling fraud on this. No verdict yet since the story's so new, but I can confidently say me and Reddit are on the same page. Not they whole. Now, those were our stories for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Got a little bit of laugh from some of the discussions and maybe have opinions of your own. And if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you think about it. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this episode if you guys haven't yet. Although if you're listening in from Spotify, don't forget to rate this podcast 5 stars. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.